What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, it has been quite a while since we have heard anything behind the scenes about what might be going on with the X-Men franchise. There are a ton of industry insiders, myself included, who ever since the rights were assumed almost 3 years ago, have been very vocal in thinking we will not see an X-Men franchise for quite a while. The most recent debacle that went down in the Fox universe is not that far away, and it was a disaster. Dark Phoenix rebooted and directed by the same guy who failed at it the first time. No idea why him or the studios thought he was worth a redemption shot. It did not work out. There's also teams like the Fantastic Four that were reaccessed during those rights acquisitions, and of course they haven't even had their intro debut yet. New huge teams like the Eternals, both obviously set for trilogies. Characters from the Infinity Saga still waiting on their second and even third films, see Doctor Strange. But we do have an update today. We're going to tie it back to what was said a year ago. Very exciting that the possibility of behind the scenes, Marvel Studios has started making moves towards what would be the first introduction of the X-Men, a reboot for the franchise and officially in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're going to tell you what's being rumored behind the scenes at Marvel Studios as far as the X-Men, and then I have quite a bit to say about not only that, but the X-Men's future in the MCU. We're breaking it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at this channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, reviews, and watch parties, to occasional breaking news like this and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, consider hitting the subscribe button, leaving a comment down below that'll automatically enter you to win all of our giveaways, including the PS5. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So the rumor that broke earlier this week is that Marvel Studios has officially started looking for a director for their first film, referred to as X-Men or Mutants film. Now, the only other rumor we'd heard about behind the scenes was a possible discussion at Marvel Studios about the first film not being called X-Men, but rather called The Mutants, not just because the name is outdated, but mostly because they wanted to focus on the mutants themselves, mutant kind, leading up to an X-Men team. And that's when I have to point directly to the beginning of the MCU, the success they had with the Avengers, something that looks like they may not replicate with the Fantastic Four, where they'll introduce the whole team a la Guardians of the Galaxy in one film instead of each character one at a time like they did with Avengers. Of course, teams like Eternals are way too big to do so, but the X-Men offer Marvel Studios a very unique opportunity because of the interest in each specific character. Characters like Storm, Cyclops, Rogue, Wolverine, and specifically Gambit would be amazingly hype as solo series on Disney+. Each one of those characters carries enough weight in and of themselves as a character, a lot more so than some of, I would say, the secondary and tertiary characters that Marvel Studios has chosen to push here in the earliest part of Phase 4. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not poo-pooing Agatha Harkness. I love her character, and especially Kathryn Hahn. I think she's an awesome addition to the MCU, and there will be plenty of awesome stuff to cover in her House of Harkness, especially as it pertains to that side, the supernatural and or magic side of the MCU. In the meantime, all of the characters I mentioned moments ago and more carry a lot more weight per character, actually deserving of their own solo movie each. Again, something maybe in the style of how they did the Avengers in the beginning of the MCU, but the most obvious piece of this discussion as it pertains to this rumor is who in the world is ready to direct the X-Men, especially with where we're at now in the MCU. Also knowing that the two previous attempts, or should we say three, however many messes Fox made of that franchise, anything that they do will be directly compared to that, and with that disaster behind them, same goes for Fantastic Four, they're going to be looking to avoid any of the mistakes they made. With this in mind, I know no matter who I bring up now to direct, as my opinion who should be in charge of directing the X-Men, will have a ton of backlash in the comments, and I of course want you to weigh in below because I can't wait to have a discussion with you guys on who you say. I would always be down for a fresh director the same way I want no-name actors, not that Tom Holland hadn't acted before, but he wasn't a household name, to pick up some of the household names in Marvel going forward. I actually don't want to know who the Wolverine is. I'd rather someone we don't know so that he can be endeared through the character himself. That's a discussion for a separate video. But what I will say is that even though I don't think Marvel Studios would ever want any of the heat attached to this name, and vice versa, I'm sure he wouldn't be interested at all, I would love to see a cinematic masterpiece with over-dramatization in the style of Zack Snyder for an X-Men movie. I think that would be incredible. Again, something I don't think is ever going to exist. but I would love it. I think the other real obvious choice, especially if they're going to do separate characters or introduce them in other films and then bring them together, would be the Russos, who have been, well, I would say more vocal as of late about, wanting to come back and how they would love it. Marvel is family. They've had the most success there. I think if I had to read the tea leaves and actually place a bet on it, if I was a betting man and had to do this, I would say, hey, let them set the tone for the Wolverine much in the way that they set the tone for Captain America, bring that together in possibly an X-Men film, and then of course they can be the ones who are setting that tone up for the major overarching narrative that leads into Doctor Doom eventually in a Secret Wars that we all hope / know / has been rumored / has been confirmed / has been unconfirmed, but where else would they go at this point, is coming by the end of the next decade. Regardless, that's going to shape up to be one of the biggest crossovers of all time. One that's going to require the presence of those characters. You can't go and do a Secret Wars before you introduce the X-Men. I mean, okay, you could, but you're missing out on a whole ton of characters that would be awesome and present in that final battle. That being said, the shadows of the failures over at the Fox franchise are going to be heavily weighed against how long they want to wait to introduce those characters, which is why I said I thought we were at least 2 or 3 years off before them even bothering. They've got plenty of franchises and teams to go with right now. You don't need the X-Men to fight Arishem. That's not even going to work. Guys, let me know down in the comments below, because I know this is going to turn into probably one of my favorite comment threads of all time. Who do you want to direct the X-Men? I will reply. If you literally give a director and a good reason why, I will try to reply to as many of you as possible, because I'm seriously interested who the community here would have. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Also, in just a very human attempt to try to connect with more of you guys, because it's a lot of just like me reporting and then hanging out in the comments after the fact, I am a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. My earliest memories of watching football are with my grandma back when we lost the Super Bowl like 4 times in a row. I know I just aged myself, but hey, listen, we are so close. All the good teams seem like they're dropping out. If your team is one of them, I apologize, but man, if you find yourself without a team this late in the NFL season, and you're feeling like you need to root for someone, root for the Bills is rooting for me, and I cannot think that we have a better shot coming up in the future than we do already this year. So, Bills play in a couple of hours. I'm legit freaking out. Doing this video is a bit cathartic, but in the meantime, here's the giveaway stuff for you casuals who haven't heard it but a million times already. We give away PlayStation 5s, a ton of other stuffs. We're giving away comics. All you got to do to be entered to win, and all the same rules apply. Hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be selected at the end of videos, same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been hit that notification bell with all notifications turned on. I've had more people tell me recently they don't get notifications at all. Also, quick question, probably doesn't pertain to any of you in the 8th minute of this video, but my analytics tell me that like 82% of you who watch this channel don't subscribe, but you've watched over like 100 videos for some of you. I'm not taking it personally, and I'm definitely not shaming you into hitting the subscribe button, but like, what gives? If you know in your heart you've watched like 10 videos of mine, would you help me hit 1 million subscribers and hit the subscribe button? Also, you're not entered to win the PlayStations. You're watching like every video. Just hit the sub button. Drop a comment. All right, guys, who do you want to direct the X-Men? Go Buffalo. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.